Prosecutor Park Hee-joo cast a wide net. The target was the legendary king of fraud Jang Do-cheol. He planned to use one con man to track down Jang Do-cheol, then double-cross everyone and keep the money and power for himself. But what she didn't know was that the con artist she chose was actually coming for her. The story begins in 2008, with the biggest financial scam in South Korean history. The mastermind Jang Do-cheol made off with 4 trillion won. He left countless families shattered. Then he fled to China, forged a death certificate and vanished. Our protagonist, Ji-sung, is a vigilante swindler who preys on con artists. His father, a top-tier forger, was murdered after forging a passport for Jang Do-cheol. The police quickly closed the case. But Ji-sung knew he had to avenge his father's death himself. 8 years later, this cold case is stirred up again. Prosecutor Park of Seoul's Special Investigation Unit looks righteous on the surface, but he's rotten to the core. The bribery ledger in Jang Do-cheol's hands contains evidence against top political and business figures, hanging over them like a sword. Prosecutor Park and his superior are both on it. He had to find Jang Do-cheol before anyone else and destroy the list. Park zeroed in on Jang Do-cheol's former underling Xiao Li. He set up an arrest. But someone had gotten there first. Surveillance footage showed a con artist disguised as an old man, cleaning out Xiao Li's house. That man was Ji-sung. After a game of cat and mouse, Prosecutor Park caught Ji-sung. During the interrogation, Ji-sung admitted that he was after Jang Do-cheol too. He also revealed that he had seen Jang Do-cheol alive in Thailand 4 years earlier. This intel convinced Prosecutor Park that Jang Do-cheol was still alive. He decided to make a deal with the devil. A temporary team of prosecutors and con artists was assembled. Ji-sung took charge of the entire plan. He understood the heart of a con, manipulating people. Step 1. Lure the snake out. He and the prosecutor's enforcer, Flathead, posed as real estate tycoons. They staged a chance encounter with Xiao Li in detention. They deliberately talked about a massive investment. It struck right at Xiao Li's fatal weakness, greed. After getting out, Ji-sung kept up the tycoon act. He rented a luxury office and hired extras. Together, they created the illusion of immense wealth. Sure enough, Xiao Li took the bait and came to him. Ji-sung dangled the bait. An investment of 1 billion. A casino project promising an 80% return in 6 months. Xiao Li couldn't come up with that kind of money. His only hope was to turn to his supposedly dead boss, Jang Do-cheol. The prosecutor had already planted a bug on Xiao Li's phone. When Jang Do-cheol's voice came through on the other end, everyone knew the giant crocodile that had lain low for 8 years was finally resurfacing. Jang Do-cheol was suspicious by nature. He sent his trusted lieutenant, President Kwok, to make contact. President Kwok was shrewd and seasoned, and spotted the casino scheme's flaw at a glance. He exposed Ji-sung's con on the spot. Ji-sung didn't panic. He switched to a push-pull strategy. He decisively called off the deal. He knew that with an old fox like this, too much eagerness would only raise suspicion. Plan A failed. Plan B kicked in at once. Chunja, the team's only female member, entered the scene. He first staged a wallet theft ploy. He deliberately made Chairman Kwok misunderstand. Then an accomplice posing as a waiter returned the wallet, triggering intense guilt. Then he ran into Chairman Kwok again at a bar. Using that apology, he successfully got close. While Chunja kept Chairman Kwok occupied, the others slipped into the hotel room and installed a full set of surveillance gear. Once everything was in place, Ji-sung hacked Chairman Kwok's hotel TV. He cut in with a fake news report claiming a witness in Thailand had spotted Jang Do-cheol. As soon as Chairman Kwok saw the report, he immediately called Jang Do-cheol to warn him to be careful. That call allowed the team to confirm that Jang Do-cheol was in South Korea. Soon after, the two arranged to meet. The prosecutor and his men moved in fast, but they could only watch as Jang Do-cheol calmly boarded a cable car and got away. However, the wiretap picked up something even more shocking. Jang Do-cheol had returned to Korea to launder as much as 300 billion won in dirty money. Prosecutor Park's greed was instantly ignited. He gave up on arresting him right away. Instead, he started plotting an even bigger double-cross. He laid his cards on the table with Ji-sung, offering the bribery list in exchange. He wanted Ji-sung to help him swindle Jang Do-cheol out of the 300 billion won. Ji-sung had no choice. He didn't just want Jang Do-cheol dead. He wanted to tear out the entire corrupt network by the roots. Once the deal was underway, Chairman Kwok brought Ji-sung a 30 billion won deposit certificate. Meanwhile, Prosecutor Park went to the other high-ranking officials on that same list and scraped together 30 billion won in cash for the first transaction. On the day of the deal, Ji-sung showed up with 30 billion won in cash. He exchanged it with Chairman Kwok for a 270 billion won deposit certificate and the car. The moment the deal was done, Prosecutor Park immediately knocked Ji-sung out. He'd already planted a tracker on President Kwok's car, hoping to get both the man and the money. But then came a twist no one saw coming. His men reported that President Kwok and Jang Du-chil, along with 30 billion won in cash, had all vanished into thin air. Worse still, that 270 billion won deposit slip was fake too. Prosecutor Park ended up losing everything. Then the phone rang. It was Jang Du-chil mocking him. Blinded by rage, Prosecutor Park had no idea the call included multiple people. His reckless outburst was being heard over the line, clearly by the higher-ups on the other end. Backed into a corner, Prosecutor Park had no choice but to turn to Ji-sung again. He threatened Ji-sung's life. He forced him to use the fake deposit slip to lure Jang Du-chil out. He still thought he was the one pulling the strings. But he had no idea he was already just a discarded piece on the board. Turned out that 4 years earlier in Thailand, after Ji-sung was captured, Jang Du-chil told him the truth. The man who had really killed his father was Prosecutor Park himself. From that moment on, the target of his revenge changed. President Kwok, Flathead, even the prosecutor's most trusted aide. All of them were victims of that old fraud case. They joined forces with Ji-sung to cast a massive net over the entire corrupt syndicate. The final showdown unfolded in a warehouse at the port. Prosecutor Park was sure he had it in the bag. He waited for Jang Du-chil to arrive. But when the door opened, the man who walked in was Ji-sung, dropping his disguise. Jang Du-chil had never shown up at all. From the voice to the silhouette, it had all been Ji-sung's perfect impersonation. Furious, the prosecutor pulled his gun. But the next second, a gun was trained on him. Flathead, the one he trusted most, had already switched sides. Just as Prosecutor Park fell into despair, the warehouse doors opened again. Every high-ranking official involved, lured there by Ji-sung and Jang Du-chil's name, filed in one after another. They dropped to their knees and begged for mercy, utterly disgraced. Ji-sung coldly pointed to the camera in the corner. This trial had been broadcast live nationwide from the very start. Justice may be delayed, but in the end it takes a better con man to bring down a fraud. The scum in politics were all brought to justice. But Ji-sung and his team knew. The true king of fraud, Jang Du-chil, was still at large. Their revenge was far from over.